Welcome back to Winning on Taxes. So we were talking about how it's 6 years, not 10. There's all kinds of bad information out there from CPAs. I actually worked at 2 law firms where when I started working there, they were asking people to file 10 years of tax returns. I quickly whipped out this IRM citation that's been around forever. And this is how it's been since I started 16 years ago. And they both changed right away. Oh, we didn't know. Stopped preparing 10 years, went down to 6 because that's all that's required. And you're doing your clients a disservice by doing that. You can only get a refund for the last 3 years. Anything further back, you're just charging them extra money to possibly increase their total tax debt. Not very good help from tax professionals. So be very aware of this. If someone doesn't know, call us. Say, hey, talk to this tax attorney I know. He'll send you the IRM citation, even though the IRS has now hid it from view. That sounds a little bit suspect there. But again, this is something I've been using for my 16-year career, and the IRS knows all about it. The ones that actually deal with this. So collections, revenue officers, offer and compromise specialists. But the first layer or two at the IRS, they're kind of clueless. They'll give you bad advice all the time. And there's no way to hold them responsible for it. It's kind of sad. True story. So this last year, I was speaking to a revenue officer who's, again, fairly high up individual in the IRS, and they actually go out and deal with cases individually. And we were going over a list of things that he wanted my client to provide. Most of it was reasonable. It was normal request. But he asked that he file 2018 through 2023 tax returns. Wasn't January yet, so they couldn't ask for 24. But come January 1st of every year, the oldest year drops off. So we were going through the list, and I was like, look, I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not going to have him file 2018 because in 2 days you can't ask for it anymore. And he said, I know, but I still have to ask for it for the next 2 days. I'm like, okay, as long as we're on the same page. He's like, yeah, no problem. So currently, you look at the current year you're filing, 2024, and then you go backwards. 2023, 22, 21, 2020, 2019. So if you haven't filed tax returns or you're missing some older tax returns that have a filing requirement, they can only go back 6 years, including the tax return that's due in the current year. So again, every single year, January 1st, it drops off. In 2026, it'll be 2020 through 2025 that they'll be able to ask for. Anybody says anything further back, you can give them the IRM citation, or you can tell them, look, I know better. I have a tax professional that gives me good advice, and you don't have to file that return. Now, are there exceptions to this rule? Always. There's always exceptions. But the main exception is when you're replacing a return the IRS filed for you. So states will do this as well. They'll go in and they'll do what's called a filing enforcement or substitute for return. They'll take the information they have. Sometimes they'll make it up, California, and they'll file a tax return for you in the worst way possible. So I had a client come in. She had sold a house. She had good income too, but she had normal tax withholdings from her income. But when she sold her house, because she didn't file her tax return, the IRS didn't give her credit for a $250,000 personal exemption that she qualified for in the sale of her property. And then also, she had a mortgage, which she didn't get credit for. So she owed $250,000. We're going to amend this return from 2018 because it makes sense. We're going to drop that $250,000 balance down to around $50,000 for her. And most of that we're going to do through CPA. We're going to make sure it's done and then wrap it up for her afterwards. But this is a perfect example of knowing your rights, knowing when to file older returns, to drop your balances dramatically by actually getting credit for what you should have gotten credit for. Today, I was just on the phone with the California Franchise Tax Board. They said someone owed $16,000. We got their returns filed. They owed $4,000. So again, they're glad to pay the $4,000 of what's left, because now this is their legitimate taxes that they should have paid. And again, with the state, it's not going to go away anytime soon. So again, if you have questions, follow up, talk to a tax professional. If you're not being educated, talk to someone else. Make sure you're getting the best information possible. And you can always call us to get a free tax consultation if you have any questions. So again, we look forward to helping you out. And again, making sure you're filing the right returns is a big first step.